someone attack me, do I not have the right to defend myself? That's the thing. There are no rights in life. There are just choices, actions, decisions. So if you feel yourself being pulled into living in your ego and trying to justify life, trying to categorize life, trying to say this is right, this is wrong, just know your ego is the illusion. Your ego is what is making you unhappy in life. For your ego is trying to control the narrative of your life, when in fact we are all just moving through life without meaning. The day I die, the only person who will miss me will be me. For others may miss me, but they will forget me. Just like others may miss you, but they will also forget you. Do you understand? Like in life, having attachment to this identity of self, the ego, is what makes me feel death is a loss. Because if I die and my ego is never been a part of me, there was no self to die. That's the thing, my ego is the one that is attached to this identity that I have created. But the truth is, the identity that I have created for myself is just a creation of my own. It doesn't hold meaning outside of me. Does that make sense? So to lose the ego is to realize I am no different from a tree. I am no different from a dog or any other animal or insect. To realize my life is not worth more than any other living thing. I am a part of everything that is living. I am a part of life. I am not separate from life. I am not above life. I am not above the trees. Even though I would like to think I am, so that I can feel more important than a tree. But a tree gives life to all of us through the air that we breathe. I do nothing to that level. Do you see? A tree in life is more important than me, because I just live my life. But a tree sustains all life. Does it make sense now? The ego is what wants to separate us from connection. So if you wish to feel connected to all of life, to the universe, to Mother Nature, you must lose the ego. Lose it where? Who knows? That's for you to decide. Lose it how? That is also for you to decide. For me, I chose to break my ego. In every moment when I see a tree, I remember that tree is the reason I can breathe. Without that tree, my life has no meaning. Because without breath, my life would be miserable, for I would be suffocating. Do you see? Without the animals and the insects to maintain the ecosystem, there would be nothing. Without bees, there would be no fruit for me to eat. Without cattle, we would have no beef. Without chickens, we would have no eggs or chicken. Do you get it? Without fruit trees, there would be no fruit. Without vegetables, there would be no vegetables. Do you see? Without everything in the ecosystem working, without the capacity for us to sustain ourselves, we must see we are no greater than the plants that nourish us. We are no greater than the animals that nourish us. For if they did not exist, our existence would be much harder. What would be my existence without food? I would be starving. I would have no energy. What would be my existence without water, without the clouds to create rain, to renew the water sources? Look to a desert. We identify a desert as being lifeless, for there is no water to sustain life. Do you see? No one chooses to go and live in a desert where there is nothing to eat or drink, because we see it as a lifeless place where our survival would mean nothing. So understand this, that to lose the ego is to understand the reality of life, which is, if I am a part of life, I must respect life as if it was me. To be a part of society without an ego means we care more or just as much for others as we care for ourselves. So why would I seek to take advantage of another if I see them as myself? Why would I seek to poison my environment if I see my environment like myself? Why would I seek cruelty on an animal if I see the animal as myself? This is the death of the ego. To understand this, that there is nothing, less than me. All has meaning, all has a part in life. Other people have a part in my connection in life. If I go into relationships and I see myself as above others, and I always seek to get what I need, and I don't think about what they need, what does that do to my relationships? If I always seek to follow my desires and I forego others' desires, what does that do to my relationships? Would I want to be in a relationship where someone forgoes my needs for their own needs? Would I seek to be in a relationship where someone forgoes my desires for their desires? This is the ego. The ego wants this. Do you see? All of the toxic traits and behaviors in our relationships, the narcissism, the cheating, the infidelity, the domestic violence, all of it. It's all the ego. The ego of thinking I am above others. The ego of not seeing others as myself. For why would I ever want to be in a relationship where I am victimized and abused? That would be very strange if I did that. This is codependency, where I feel a need to have someone above me for my entire life. Others have been above me. Codependency happens when we grow up around highly narcissistic individuals, where we seek their validation because they have taught and trained us that their validation is the highest form of validation. But in truth, to me, My validation is the highest validation. And your validation to you should be the highest validation. Because I must make sure that I am not validating myself through others. But I also must make sure that I'm not in my ego trying to force others to validate themselves through me. I should see others as me and look to support them, to give them what I would want. This is a relationship without ego. Look into your life. Look into your past relationships. Have you been in your ego? Or have you been around people who were in their ego? Who didn't see you for you and only saw you for what they could get from you? Who didn't value you for your inherent individualism and who you are as a person, but they sought to make you into someone that you are not. Society, unfortunately, is based in the ego. That is why we have corruption. Why our justice system doesn't work. Because our justice system is based upon what we can prove, not what is right. If someone steals from me, the onus should not be on me to prove that I was wronged. But it is. Because the ego wants to leave loopholes so that I may force someone to have to prove that I have stolen from them, so I can argue against it. Our society isn't based on what is right and what is wrong. Even if we try to live our life based in right and wrong, right and wrong doesn't exist. Because if you are wronged, I have nothing to do with it unless I am the one who wronged you. So why does it bother me if you get justice or not? That's the thing. Our ideals of just, unjust, right and wrong, good and bad, they can be the most beautiful, tools to help those in need, or they can be tools of corruption. It just depends who wields them. So if we forego right and wrong, should you steal from me? That is just something that happened. Now I have the choice. Do I want to allow you around me so that you may perpetrate it in the future again? Or do I distance myself from you? If I'm in a relationship where someone follows their desires and ignores my desires, should I remain in that relationship and allow that to potentially happen again? Or do I progress forward, following my desires? That's the thing. We all have to learn to break our ego, to see others as we see ourselves, to treat others as we wish to be treated, to give to others as we wish to be given to. Because in life, good and bad, we are always going to be on either end of this situation. Sometimes we will get the good end of the stick, sometimes we will get the bad end of the stick. Those who think they're only ever going to get the good end of the stick in life are going to be rudely shocked when they get the bad stick. That's the thing. So we just need to see the situation for what it is, for the flow of life. That if someone is in their ego and they give no consideration to me, I should not be in that environment, for I do not want the outcomes that are associated with that environment. Should someone not be in their ego and they're looking to give to me as if they were giving to themselves, well, I would want to be in that environment. For in that environment, I don't have to worry about getting the bad end of the stick, because the situation won't be set up in a win-lose scenario. There is no winning in life, there is no losing in life. Be it if I die of natural causes, be if I die of an accident, be if I die of malevolent events. The end result is I'm dead. Maybe I got longer in this end. Maybe I got shorter in this end. Like, who knows? But that's the thing. The end of life is always death. It doesn't matter how that death comes to be. Death is death. Do you understand what I'm saying? It doesn't matter if I see my death as, dying at 98 years old from, my organs shutting down as being the ideal way to die. Or dying when I'm 40 from a heart attack. Or dying when I'm 38 from being hit by a bus. It doesn't matter, because in the moment of death, all that is gone away. And it ceases to be a worry for me because I cease to be. Do you understand? It's only while I'm alive and while I'm holding on to my ego that there are right and wrong ways. When I let go of my ego, life just is. And now I get to see life for what it is. I can choose situations based on the merits of those situations, based on the environments those situations are in. I can be in relationships based on the people, how they treat me, not on what I can get from them. Do you see? The ego wants to only see what is in it for me. When we lose the ego, we're able to see for what it is and ask ourselves, do I want to be a part of that? Does that make me feel good in life? Will that make me feel good about myself? Because if I'm forever putting myself into situations, trying to get what I want out of them, and I'm constantly putting myself into these negative situations, I'm only going to diminish myself. And I'm never going to get what I want. Or I'm going to lean in to trying to play the system, play the game. I'll go into relationships with the idea that I have to get what I want, otherwise I'm not being a party to this. The reason we go into relationships is because I enjoy your company, or you enjoy mine. Because I like you as a person. You like me as a person. Not for what you can get out of me, not for what I can get out of you. That is called a toxic relationship if we do that. Think of it like this. What do we call a woman who dates a man for his money? A gold digger. Someone that's looking to dig all the gold out of him. A siren. A vixen. Do you understand? When it's other people, we see it as being negative. The ego wants to see it as that is wrong. But should I take those actions? The ego wants to justify, well, I was entitled to. Do you see? When we want to be with someone